It was the night of February 12th, 2011, somewhere in the snowy quiet of Michigan. Two friends were outside, casually playing basketball on ice. But what started off as an ordinary night turned into something unforgettable. According to the uploader Saka 101A, a chilling screech pierced the air, about 500 yards away. At first, they froze. Then, the sound drew closer, unnervingly fast. That's when they ran. Back inside. Doors locked, lights out, camera rolling. What they captured next still unsettles those who've seen it. A shriek. Deep, drawn out, and unnatural. The video is shaky and dark, framed through a window, but the sound is unmistakable. Something was out there.
Now that caps off a crazy adventure.
Ben,
Did you?
it's your window.
He's coming in the house.
The next morning they returned. In the snow near the window, massive footprints, far too large for any known animal. Deep, wide, trailing around the house. Then they noticed claw marks on the siding. Nothing it could have stood on. No easy explanation. Theories poured in. Some called it a hoax. Others whispered Dogman, a creature from folklore, part dog, part man, said to stalk the Midwest. The 911 call from a separate incident days later only added fuel to the fire. A driver claimed something upright, dog-like, ran in front of their car before they crashed into a ditch.
Dog-like creature peeked its nose out. Now I'm gonna see what it would have to stand on and how tall it would have to be. Well, this is my height. There's the window. There's nothing it could have stood on. You know, that's weird, there's scratches on there. Well, anyways, it could have had a couple legs like this on these steps. But it would have to be about a foot taller than me in order for its head to peek out. Stating that the dog man would be, believe it or not, 7 foot.
One viewer quipped, "The real mystery here is why he was wearing those awful sandals in the snow." Another joked, "The only thing that scared me was your scream." But beneath the humor, an unease lingered. Was it real? A prank? Or something more sinister? No clear answers. But that sound, the scream, stuck with everyone. Some cryptids are dismissed as myth. But when something stalks your home at night, scratches your walls, and watches you through the window, does it really matter if it's real or not? You still run. In September of this year, a video surfaced online and then vanished. Just days after being uploaded, it was taken down without warning. Was it the uploader's fear or something darker? For a brief moment, the footage returned, but only long enough to leave one haunting question behind. Captured on a quiet night shift inside a private building in Colombia, a security guard begins his usual rounds. The surveillance cameras catch him walking calmly through the corridor until he suddenly stops and waves.
A night guard was patrolling the area alone, and he swears he was talking to an old lady. Luis Alvarez uploaded a video taken from a security camera where a man can be seen waving to someone in the dark. He sees someone we can't see. He goes over to open the door for what he would later describe as a lost old lady.
At first glance, it seems ordinary. Maybe someone entered the building. But as the clip plays on, it becomes unnervingly clear. No one is there. The guard appears to carry on a full conversation, smiling, nodding, gesturing, as if speaking to someone only he can see. When later questioned, he described an elderly woman who seemed confused, asking for directions. Yet no figure ever appears on camera. The tension escalates when his radio crackles. A coworker urgently informs him, "There's no one else in the building tonight but you." The realization hits like a punch.
Conversing with the old lady, he waits for the elevator, and this happens. He he runs off the building after the horrifying realization. Some people believe that
Panic floods the guard's face. He slams the elevator button repeatedly, but it's too slow. Instinct takes over. He spins around and bolts for the stairs. That was the last anyone saw of him that night. Whether he quit, transferred, or just refused to return, no one knows for sure. The video has since been wiped from its original source. No names, no further details. Only the chilling footage remains, shared in fragments. Was it a glitch of the mind, or a brush with something unexplainable? If the footage is real, it's not just disturbing, it's something deeper. A reminder that sometimes the most terrifying encounters are the ones you never see coming. Who was she? And why did only he see her? YouTuber Hoopla22 thought it was just another harmless prank. His friend Derek had a habit of sneaking into his house for laughs, and when his dog Nala began barking wildly one night, he assumed it was just that again. What he didn't expect was to record one of the most unsettling home encounters ever caught on camera. According to the video's description, Hoopla was in the bathroom when Nala started growling uncontrollably. Curious and a little annoyed, he began filming, hoping to catch Derek in the act. But what he captured was no joke. Nala was hiding in a corner, trembling. Hoopla called her name over and over, but she wouldn't budge. Then came the noise from the kitchen. A sudden bang. Hoopla rushed to grab Nala, but just as they were about to leave the room, the bedroom door slammed shut on its own.
if you hear your dog like this, be very careful.
Nala!
YouTube user Hoopla uploaded a disturbing video where he explains he left his dog Nala in his room for only a couple minutes to use the restroom.
Nala!
He thought it was his friend Derek that snuck in to pull a prank on him, so he...
That's when everything changed. He called out to Derek, hoping for a response. Silence. Nala wouldn't stop shaking. The tension in Hoopla's voice turned into panic. He kept trying to reassure her, but she wasn't calming down. She seemed frozen in fear. Eventually, Hoopla managed to coax her out, but he didn't stop to investigate. He left the house immediately and didn't return for days. Since that night, he's been staying with his parents.
Decided to record the event.
Derek?
Looking for Nala, he hears something in the kitchen, but nothing's there.
Nala, where'd you go, princess? Nala?
He finds Nala hiding in the dark, shaking and completely irresponsive. He hears more movement in the kitchen, and as he's getting his dog Nala to leave the house, this happens.
Nala, we're leaving, let's go!
He explains Nala was traumatized with shakes, but after a few days she recovered. What Nala saw in his room that scared her to...
Nala, he says, hasn't been the same since. He's convinced it was something paranormal, something not meant to be seen. Could it have been a haunting, or just an elaborate coincidence? One viewer summed up what many were thinking. I'll be praying for this man and his dog after this disturbing encounter. And honestly, after watching it, you probably will too. James Fodder thought he scored a lucky deal when he found an antique doll at a secondhand shop. It looked valuable, delicate, maybe even rare, so he took it home. But what followed wasn't good fortune, it was fear. Almost immediately, strange things started happening. Odd noises, doors creaking open by themselves, that creeping feeling of being watched. Convinced the doll was somehow connected, James set up a motion-sensitive camera in an empty room to see what he could catch.
What happened? With the motion detector potentially picking up something around the room, but nothing too strange. A couple of nights later, he was out of town, but he kept the camera on where it detected something terrifying.
At first, nothing. But then, one night, the camera slowly began to pan across the room, as if tracking something. But nothing was there. No movement, no figure, just silence, and that quiet, eerie, mechanical motion. 2 nights later, everything changed. James wasn't home, but the camera was still rolling. The footage shows a shadowy figure, featureless and dark, darting from his bathroom across the floor and vanishing into thin air. It was fast, shapeless, and gone before you could make sense of it. James was speechless. His only comment online was, "Just wow." But the worst was yet to come.
A small shadow figure shoots across the room from behind the doll. People have speculated that it could just be a mouse, but other comments are a little bit more sinister, explaining that it could be a spirit or unknown entity, as well as others claiming to have been visited by this before.
While sleeping upstairs, James's camera picked up something bone-chilling. The doll moved. Not dramatically, but just enough. Its tiny frame shifted slightly, its posture adjusted, then it stopped. That brief, almost imperceptible movement was more terrifying than any jump scare. He posted the footage online, asking viewers for help. Some say it's a hoax. Others, especially those who've owned vintage dolls, believe every second of it.
In this clip, you visibly see the doll moving, almost as if it begins looking at the camera, and again when it sits forward and then back. James was creeped out by all of this and decided to film it in a different position to see what happens.
One commenter summed up the bizarre charm of these ghostly encounters best. "I always wondered, those ghosts always peeking or giving a small revealing just to take the piss out of humans. Maybe this doll wasn't just watching, maybe it was teasing." In 2009, a user by the name RexyBoy34 uploaded his first and only video. It was meant to be just a casual day in the woods with 3 friends, a little exploration, some laughs, and a camera rolling to capture it all. What it captured instead is still disturbing viewers over a decade later. The footage starts off uneventfully. The group walks through a quiet forest, joking around. But just minutes in, things take a strange turn. Rexy, filming from behind, suddenly spots something. Something lurking between 2 of his friends. He shouts. They turn, and whatever was there vanishes without a sound.
What the hell is that?
Everyone brushes it off as nerves. But then they check the footage, and it's there. A figure, standing unnaturally still behind the trees, then gone in a blink. Still shaken, the group keeps going. That decision would haunt them. A few minutes later, the camera catches it again. Another figure, just barely visible, peered from behind a thick tree trunk. This time, the friends don't wait to be sure. They scream, pure panic, and run. The video cuts off just as they flee.
Behind you. I'm being serious, there was something there. There was. I'm not, there was something there.
That was the last anyone ever heard from RexyBoy34. No follow-up video, no second upload. The account has been silent ever since, untouched since that single post in 2009. It's like the uploader vanished into the very woods he filmed. What was that thing? A person? A spirit? Something else entirely? Many have tried to analyze the footage, enhance frames, trace the forest, but none of it has yielded answers. Just more questions. and one video that refuses to be forgotten. Sometimes, it's not the loudest hauntings that stay with us. It's the ones that end in silence. In March 2025, a quiet moment on a Bangkok hotel balcony became a viral nightmare. Surveillance footage shows a couple unwinding in a rooftop pool, the city skyline glowing behind them. The scene is peaceful, calm, unassuming. Then, a subtle shift. It starts small, just a ripple, but then the water begins to sway, not with the breeze, but with force. Something unnatural. The man by the pool suddenly grows tense. His posture changes. He looks around, uneasy, sensing something isn't right. Then it hits. An invisible wave rolls across the water. It crashes toward the edge, spills back, then whips violently toward the building. The structure seems to pulse, vibrate. Then realization dawns. This isn't a trick of the water. It's not a prank or pool malfunction. It's an earthquake. Panic explodes across the balcony. The couple stumbles out of the water. Others nearby run for the door. The pool thrashes like it's alive. And then, just like that, the video ends. No warning, no aftermath, just black. There's been no official statement since, no names released, no reports confirming if anyone was injured. The clip was posted anonymously, a chilling fragment of time that might have ended in disaster. Or did. What's most unsettling isn't just the earthquake, it's how fast reality shifted, from peaceful to chaos, from safe to terrifying. In seconds, the world turned. And it reminded everyone watching, we're never really in control. As one viewer wrote, "Be safe, all of you." It's a simple message, one that hits differently after witnessing how fast everything can change. Because sometimes, the scariest moments aren't filled with monsters or ghosts. Sometimes it's the real world cracking open beneath your feet. What would you do if the floor started moving?